Right now, you are either shaping your future or letting it slip through your hands. Every thought you think, every habit you perform, and every action you take is building the identity that will define your life. If you want to stop reacting to life and start controlling it, this audiobook is your blueprint. By the end of this hour, you will know exactly how to think, act, and live like a high performer every day without fail. Stop waiting. Your identity isn't discovered, it's built. And we start now. Chapter 1. Stop proving and start doing. Success is not a signal to others. It is a reflection of your internal identity. That distinction is critical. Most people operate backwards. They chase applause. They chase approval. They chase recognition. They prove. They perform. They measure themselves by external indicators. That is weakness disguised as effort. You have a choice. Stop proving. Start doing. That's the key. You don't need their permission. You don't need their recognition. You don't need anyone to validate your effort. What matters is the internal architecture of your life, the systems you build, the behaviors you repeat, the person you become. External signals are secondary. They are byproducts. They are reflections. They are never the foundation. Consider the elite athlete. No one watches their early morning runs. No one observes the hours spent on skill drills that appear mundane. The preparation is unseen. The work is silent. The identity is forged long before the performance. That is the difference. They stop proving. They start building. Stop proving. Start building. Repeat. 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 You have a choice in every moment to perform for recognition or to perform for mastery. Recognition is fleeting. Mastery compounds. Recognition fades. Mastery endures. Recognition is reactive. Mastery is proactive. Recognition demands permission. Mastery demands discipline. You decide. There is a common flaw most people adopt. They confuse effort with progress. They measure motion as growth. They equate busyness with competence. That is flawed thinking. That is noise. That is distraction. It is not about how much you appear to do. It is about what you repeat. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. That is the principle. Memorize it. Internalize it. Act on it. You must audit your actions. Every day, every hour, every choice must be measured against the person you intend to become. Are your actions building your identity, or are they feeding the illusion of effort? That is the difference between people who achieve and people who only appear busy. That is the difference between proving and doing. Rules are necessary. Systems are critical. Habits are non-negotiable. You cannot rely on raw willpower. Willpower fluctuates. Motivation fades. Habits endure. Systems automate behavior. Systems remove choice. Systems remove hesitation. Systems create identity. That is the foundation of success. That is the rule. Stop proving. Start building. Let us convert this principle into actionable behavior. Rule 1. Remove observation. Do the work without announcing it. Remove the audience. Remove the feedback loop that seeks approval. Silent action builds identity. Silent action reinforces discipline. Silent action is invisible to others, but transformative to you. Apply this immediately. Stop posting. Stop explaining. Stop performing. Start doing. Rule 2. Create a daily repetition system. Identify the smallest, high-value actions that align with the person you want to become. Repeat them daily. 1 habit repeated forms the foundation. 2 habits repeated compound. 10 habits repeated define identity. Do not aim for intensity. Aim for consistency. Repetition beats intensity. That is the key. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. Rule 3. Measure internal progress, not external applause. Track consistency. Track adherence to systems. Track discipline. Do not track likes, praise, or validation. These are distractions. The measure is internal. The measure is structural. You are building a machine. The output of the machine matters, not the commentary of observers. Rule 4. Apply the principle of invisible training. Dedicate time to practice that no one sees. This is the crucible of identity. The work performed in private sets the stage for mastery in public. If you only perform in view of others, your identity remains shallow. Depth requires silence. Depth requires repetition. Depth requires unseen discipline. Stop proving. Start building. Rule 5. Replace performance with process. Process is repeatable. Performance is episodic. Performance seeks applause. Process seeks mastery. Performance is conditional. Process is unconditional. Process shapes character. Process defines identity. Structure your day around processes, not outcomes. That is the system of the disciplined mind. Consider the example of a writer. A writer does not wait for praise before drafting sentences. A writer does not measure worth by audience reaction. A writer writes daily. Every day, silent repetition builds skill. Skill becomes identity. Identity becomes mastery. Recognition may follow, but it is irrelevant. This is the sequence. Stop proving. Start building. Repetition reinforces identity. Drill this principle. Stop proving. Start building. Stop proving. Start building. Speak it. Internalize it. Act it. Apply it. The more you repeat, the more your brain accepts it as truth. The more your actions align with it, the more your identity is shaped by it. This is conditioning, not motivation, not hype. Conditioning. Expect resistance. Expect internal chatter. Expect social pressure. The world rewards proving. The world celebrates display. You're not the world. You are the architect of your identity. You decide. You have a choice. Discipline is not optional. Proving is optional. That is the distinction. That is the system. Behavioral adjustment is incremental. Do not attempt radical transformations. Radical change fails. Structural adjustment succeeds. Replace one habit at a time. Improve one system at a time. Repeat daily. That is the path. Repeat daily. Repeat daily. Repetition is the lever that moves identity. That is the rule. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. Memorize it. Implement it. Repeat it. To summarize the principles of this chapter, stop proving. External validation is irrelevant. Discipline is internal. Start building. Align your actions with the identity you wish to embody. Structure your systems. Habits and processes are non-negotiable. Repeat silently and consistently. Intensity is not required. Consistency is. Audit and adjust daily. Check alignment. Remove misalignment immediately. The principle is simple but powerful. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. The rest is distraction. The rest is noise. You have a choice. You have control. You have authority over your own identity. Stop proving. Start building. That is the foundation for everything that follows. Next, we will examine the silent cost of seeking validation. You will learn why external approval is a tax on your potential and how to reclaim the energy spent on pleasing others. This is where you refine your internal systems and protect the discipline you are now building. Stop proving. Start building. Stop proving. Start building. That is the principle. That is the rule. That is the system. Chapter 2. The silent cost of seeking validation. Approval is for the weak. Identity is for the strong. Repeat it. Memorize it. Let it guide every decision you make today. Most people live their lives on the currency of other people's opinions. They seek approval as though it were oxygen. They adjust their actions to fit expectations. They modify their behavior to avoid criticism. That is the silent cost. That is the hidden tax. That is the slow drain on focus, energy, and identity. You have a choice. You do not have to participate. When you chase approval, you surrender control. You hand over your mental bandwidth to observers. Every thought is filtered. Every action is measured against a standard imposed externally. You're no longer the architect of your life. You are the audience's performer. And performance burns energy. Performance steals attention. Performance fragments focus. That is the cost. That is the tax. That is the trap. Entrepreneurs offer a clear example. Those who obsess over likes, comments, shares, and public praise rarely scale. They spend hours curating perception. They adjust product, message, or behavior to appease audiences. They respond to criticism more than strategy. Their decisions are reactionary. Their priorities are misaligned. Their identity becomes a reflection of others' expectations rather than a projection of internal discipline. Approval is for the weak. Identity is for the strong. Repeat it. Internalize it. Act on it. You do not need their permission. You do not need their praise. You do not need anyone to recognize your effort for it to have value. The work itself is the value. The system itself is the progress. The habit itself is the transformation. External recognition is optional. Internal alignment is mandatory. That is the distinction between the weak and the strong. That is the foundation of identity. There is a critical flaw most people adopt without realizing it. They confuse temporary recognition with lasting progress. They equate applause with achievement. They measure worth by commentary rather than consistency. That is a mistake. That is distraction. That is a trap. Success is internal. Identity is internal. Habit is internal. Approval is external. External is irrelevant. Internal is decisive. You have a choice. You decide where your attention goes. You decide what you serve. Systems eliminate the need for approval. When your actions are structured, habitual, and intentional, you no longer seek validation. You act because the system demands it. You follow process because the rules are clear. You measure adherence because discipline is the metric, not praise. Structure converts energy from impression management to identity building. That is the power of systems. That is the leverage of discipline. That is the antidote to seeking approval. Rule 1. Audit your attention. Track where your mental energy flows. Notice how often you act for recognition. Track posts, responses, explanations, justifications. Stop all actions that exist purely to satisfy others. Replace them with actions that reinforce your internal system. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Guard it. Protect it. That is discipline. Rule 2. Establish invisible metrics. Set metrics that only you can see and verify. Track habits. Track daily execution. Track adherence to process. Remove metrics that rely on external acknowledgement. You are building your internal machine, not performing for spectators. The machine does not require applause. The machine produces results. You do not change your life. You change what you repeat. Repeat that. Internalize that. Act on that. Rule 3. Reduce exposure to external noise. Social media, commentary, unsolicited opinions. These are distractions. Limit exposure. Design your environment to minimize these drains on attention. Protect your mental bandwidth. Protect your discipline. Protect your identity. Approval is for the weak. Identity is for the strong. Repeat it. Repeat it again. Let it sink into every decision. Rule 4. Act for internal standards. Define the metrics that matter. Define the rules you will never break. Every decision must pass the test of alignment with these internal standards. Do not ask for permission. Do not seek applause. Do not adjust to criticism. Do the work because it aligns with your system. That is the principle of identity. That is the principle of mastery. Rule 5. Convert feedback into data, not validation. Feedback has utility only when it improves your system. Separate ego from information. Extract the signal. Ignore the noise. Let external commentary serve the system, not the self-esteem. Most people invert this. They let commentary dictate behavior. They let approval determine effort. That is weakness. That is misalignment. That is the silent tax you are now learning to avoid. Consider the example of a software entrepreneur. One founder obsessively monitored social reactions to every product release. Every post, every article, every interaction dictated next steps. The product stagnated. Decisions were reactionary. Scaling became impossible. Another founder focused entirely on systems, processes, product quality, habit adherence. No applause, no recognition, no validation. The results compounded. Identity built itself silently. Performance followed. Recognition arrived later, automatically. Approval is for the weak. Identity is for the strong. Repeat it. Live it. Expect resistance. Expect internal voices demanding praise, recognition, or approval. These are instinctive. They are habitual. They are not aligned with your discipline. Do not argue. Do not negotiate. Observe. Redirect. Reallocate that energy to silent repetition. Repetition beats intensity. Consistency beats approval. Identity beats performance. That is the hierarchy. That is the system. That is the rule. You have a choice every moment. Every action can serve the weak desire for recognition or the strong pursuit of identity. Every message sent, every decision made, every interaction observed is either feeding weakness or reinforcing strength. Choose deliberately. Choose system over spectacle. Choose identity over approval. That is discipline. That is self-rule. That is growth. To summarize the principles of this chapter, approval is a tax. Every second spent seeking it drains energy and focus. Identity is internal. Build habits, systems, and processes that reinforce it. Measure what matters. Internal metrics, not applause, determine progress. Limit exposure to distraction. Protect mental bandwidth for the systems that matter. Act for mastery, not recognition. Repeat silently, consistently, and deliberately. Approval is for the weak. Identity is for the strong. Repeat it. Reinforce it. Live it. The work you do in private shapes the life you will inhabit in public. You have a choice. You do not need permission. You do not need applause. You do not need validation. The path forward is disciplined. It is silent. It is structural. That is the difference between weak and strong. That is the difference between proving and building. Next, we will explore how habits build identity, not goals. You will learn why systems matter more than results and how to translate repetition into the architecture of your life. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. That principle carries forward. It is the foundation. Approval is for the weak. Identity is for the strong. Repeat it. Live it. Build it. Chapter 3. Habits build identity, not goals. Habits define you. Goals test you. Repeat that. Memorize it. Habits are the architecture of identity. Goals are the checkpoints. Goals measure results. Habits shape the person who achieves them. Most people operate backwards. They chase goals. They hope outcomes will change who they are. That is a mistake. That is the wrong order. You have a choice. Focus on wiring your behavior first. Focus on repetition. Focus on identity. That is the system. That is the principle. Goals are outcomes. They are external. They are temporary. They measure performance, not capability. They provide deadlines, not transformation. They provide excitement, not discipline. Goals without habits are fragile. They fail under stress. They vanish when motivation falters. Habits, on the other hand, are structural. Habits embed themselves into the brain. Habits shape behavior automatically. Habits build identity. Habits are the wiring. Goals are only the readout. Remember this. Habits define you. Goals test you. Consider a simple example. Reading. You can set a goal. Finish a book this year. It sounds productive. It sounds ambitious. It feels like progress. But notice the flaw. It is outcome-based. It depends on circumstances, time, motivation, and energy. It is reactive. It waits for external alignment. Now compare it to a habit-based approach. Reading 20 pages daily, without exception. 20 pages every day. That is structural. That is automatic. That rewires your mind. It shapes patience. It builds focus. It reinforces discipline. Identity is formed through repetition, not hope. The difference is clear. One builds excuses. One builds identity. One endures. One collapses. Repeat this principle. Habits define you. Goals test you. You have a choice every day. Every action is either an input into identity or a temporary fix. You choose repetition. You choose systems. You choose structure. Or you choose results that may never arrive. Most people choose results. Most people chase outcomes. Most people confuse ambition with achievement. That is flawed. That is distraction. That is weakness. You have a choice. You choose identity. You choose habits. That is strength. That is discipline. That is control. Rule 1. Focus on keystone habits. Identify behaviors that automatically influence other areas of your life. Exercise consistently. Read daily. Track execution. Keystone habits create leverage. They restructure your brain. They reinforce identity without requiring motivation. Small wins compound. Small disciplines accumulate. Build these first. That is the foundation. That is the system. Rule 2. Remove reliance on outcomes. Do not measure progress by results. Measure it by adherence to habits. Did you complete the action? Did you follow the system? That is the metric. Results are byproducts. Results are unreliable. Systems are reliable. Habits repeated daily are inevitable. Goals only become reality when supported by habitual structure. Habits define you. Goals test you. Repeat it. Live it. Reinforce it. Rule 3. Implement micro-habits. Break complex tasks into repeatable, manageable actions. If you want to write a book, write 300 words daily. If you want to exercise, start with 10 minutes per day. Complexity is the enemy of consistency. Simplicity is the friend of repetition. The mind adapts to patterns. Identity forms when actions are repeated without friction. That is the process. That is the system. That is how discipline is encoded into your behavior. Rule 4. Build non-negotiable routines. Create time blocks, environments, and sequences that reinforce habits automatically. Your system should remove decision fatigue. Do not rely on willpower. Do not rely on inspiration. Habits executed in a structured environment require neither. Habits define you. Goals test you. Repetition beats intensity. Consistency beats effort. That is the law. That is the principle. That is how identity is constructed. Rule 5. Reinforce identity through repetition. Every habit repeated strengthens the person you are becoming. Every skipped habit weakens it. Every consistent action rewires the brain. Every disciplined choice cements character. Habits are identity in motion. Goals are the reflection of that motion. Ignore the reflection. Focus on the motion. Focus on the wiring. Focus on the repetition. Habits define you. Goals test you. Repeat it. Live it. Internalize it. Expect resistance. Expect internal dialogue, questioning the value of small, consistent action. Expect the urge to chase outcomes for validation. That is instinctive. That is normal. That is irrelevant. Do not negotiate. Do not debate. Redirect. Reallocate your energy to repeated actions. The path is clear. The path is structural. Habits build identity. Goals are irrelevant without them. You have a choice. You control your repetition. You control your identity. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the principle. Consider an example from business. One entrepreneur set a goal to grow revenue by 30% this year. He obsessed over targets, metrics, and projections. He failed. Motivation fluctuated. Stress increased. Systems were neglected. Another entrepreneur created habitual processes, daily client outreach, consistent content creation, structured follow-up. Habits repeated without interruption. Systems automated growth. Metrics became outcomes, not distractions. Results followed predictably. Identity was strengthened daily. Habits defined him. Goals only tested him. Repeat it. Internalize it. Apply it. Habits must be measured by their alignment with identity. Every habit should answer the question, does this make me the person I want to become? If yes, repeat. If no, discard. Habits without alignment are wasted energy. Habits with alignment are invincible. That is the difference. That is the law. That is the system. That is the architecture of identity. To summarize the principles of this chapter, habits define you. Repetition rewires the brain and shapes character. Goals test you. Outcomes reflect identity. They do not build it. Focus on structure, not intensity. Small, consistent actions outperform large, sporadic efforts. Build micro-habits and keystone routines. They compound across all areas of life. Measure adherence, not approval or outcomes. Identity is internal. Results are byproducts. Habits define you. Goals test you. Repeat it. Live it. Reinforce it. The life you will lead is the sum of your repeated actions. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. That principle guides every choice you make. That principle underpins every system you will build. Next, we will examine how to master your minutes. You will learn how to audit time, protect attention, and turn each hour into a building block for identity. That is where focus becomes structural. That is where discipline becomes automatic. That is where repetition converts into the architecture of success. Habits define you. Goals test you. Habits define you. Goals test you. Habits define you. Goals test you. Chapter 4. Master your minutes. Master your life. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Identity by design. Repeat it. Memorize it. Every minute you spend defines who you are becoming. Every choice reinforces a pattern, a habit, a system. Time is the building block of identity. Misused time builds a weak self. Mindless minutes construct a life you never intended. You have a choice. You control your minutes. You control your life. That is the principle. That is the system. That is the law of disciplined living. Most people underestimate the power of small units of time. They say, 1 minute won't matter. That is flawed thinking. 1 minute sets the trajectory. 10 minutes compound. An hour accumulates. Every moment ignored is a moment shaping the wrong identity. It is invisible. It is silent. Yet it is decisive. You cannot reclaim it. You cannot argue with it. You have a choice now. Every minute must serve the person you intend to become. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Identity by design. Repeat it. Internalize it. Act on it. Top performers understand this principle. They audit their days. Every hour is accounted for. Every block of time serves a function. They measure alignment with their identity. They do not leave it to chance. They do not react to distraction. They do not chase convenience. They plan. They schedule. They execute. Each minute reinforces a pattern. Each hour strengthens the system. Each day compounds. That is how mastery is built. That is how discipline is automated. That is how identity is constructed. You do not need their permission. You do not need validation to structure your time. Time is yours. Minutes are yours. Energy is yours. Attention is yours. Do not surrender it. Do not scatter it. Do not waste it on trivialities. This is not negotiation. This is non-negotiable. Discipline over convenience. Structure over chaos. Identity over distraction. That is the choice. That is the leverage. That is the difference between mediocrity and excellence. Rule 1. Audit every hour. Record your daily actions. Track where time is spent. Identify moments of distraction. Remove them. Replace them with aligned actions. If it does not reinforce identity, it is a waste. If it does not strengthen systems, it is irrelevant. You have a choice. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Identity by design. Repeat it. Live it. Apply it. Rule 2. Design your day around systems, not tasks. Tasks are temporary. Systems are enduring. Block time for high-value actions. Prioritize routines that reinforce habits. Start with keystone systems. Exercise, reading, planning, reflection, execution. Each system should have a time anchor. Each system should reinforce identity. Time spent outside these systems is a tax. Time spent within these systems is leverage. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. Repeat it. Rule 3. Protect your attention like currency. Distraction is expensive. Social media, notifications, unnecessary meetings, and unstructured interruptions are thieves. They drain energy. They dilute focus. They fragment identity. Guard attention rigorously. Create boundaries. Create structures that make deviation difficult. The mind will resist at first. That is normal. The system is stronger than resistance. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. Repeat it. Rule 4. Break the day into purposeful blocks. Time should not float. Time should be anchored. Divide your day into blocks with explicit purpose. Morning routines, work blocks, reflection periods, planning sessions, skill development. Each block reinforces identity. Each block enforces repetition. Each block converts minutes into structures of discipline. Do not leave gaps. Gaps invite distraction. Gaps erode identity. Fill blocks deliberately. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Identity by design. Repeat it. Rule 5. Review and adjust daily. End each day with reflection. Examine how each minute was spent. Identify misalignment. Correct immediately. Habits of auditing time reinforce identity more than sporadic bursts of effort. Systems must be fine-tuned. Processes must be reinforced. Every day is an iteration. Every minute matters. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Identity by design. Repeat it. Live it. Embed it. Consider a practical example. A high-performing executive schedules the day in 60-minute blocks. The first block is planning. The second is focused execution. The third is skill development. Meetings are scheduled with intention. Email is batch processed. Reflection occurs in the evening. Distraction is minimized. Energy is protected. Attention is allocated. Repetition builds identity. Systems enforce discipline. Minutes compound into hours. Hours compound into months. Months define identity. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Identity by design. Most people ignore this. They drift. They react. They fill time with low-value actions. They believe busy equates to productive. That is flawed. That is wasted energy. That is erosion of identity. The strongest performers understand. Time is the most precise unit of leverage. Minutes are atomic. Hours are compound. Days are cumulative. Years are defined by the alignment of repeated minutes. Minute by minute. choice by choice, identity by design. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Resistance will appear. Internal excuses, social obligations, fatigue, and distraction will challenge adherence. Do not negotiate. Do not debate. Redirect energy to aligned actions. That is discipline. That is sovereignty. That is mastery. Every minute you redirect strengthens identity. Every minute wasted weakens it. That is the system. That is the rule. That is the principle. To summarize the principles of this chapter, audit every minute. Each moment is building your identity for or against you. Structure time around systems, not tasks. Systems are durable. Tasks are ephemeral. Protect attention rigorously. Avoid distraction. Guard energy. Reinforce focus. Anchor every block of time. Daily structures convert minutes into repeated habits. Review, adjust, and refine. Daily reflection ensures alignment and strengthens identity. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. Repeat it, live it, apply it, protect it. The life you are becoming is the sum of your repeated minutes. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. That principle underpins everything. That principle is the foundation of mastery. That principle will guide the next stage. Next, we will examine the power of intentional silence. You will learn why quiet is a system of focus, how it strengthens mental discipline, and how it converts stillness into action. Silence is not empty. Silence is not passive. Silence is structural. Silence is power. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. Chapter 5, The Power of Intentional Silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Memorize it. Internalize it. Every human mind is constantly bombarded with noise, external chatter, social demands, notifications, endless opinions. That noise fragments attention. It dilutes focus. It weakens discipline. Most people mistake activity for productivity. Most people mistake sound for thought. That is a flaw. That is a weakness. You have a choice. You can surrender to noise, or you can command silence. That is power. That is discipline. That is control. Intentional silence is a system. It is not passive. It is not leisure. It is structural. It is functional. It is designed to train the mind. It strengthens attention. It clarifies thought. It resets cognitive capacity. Without it, focus deteriorates. Decisions degrade. Energy drains. Patterns weaken. Discipline erodes. Silence restores all of these. Silence strengthens the foundation of identity. Silence is a tool. Silence is leverage. Silence is a habit. CEOs and innovators understand this principle. They schedule daily thinking hours. They disconnect from communication. They remove meetings. They remove distractions. They allow the mind to process strategy, solve problems, and rehearse decisions. These hours are non-negotiable. They are not for relaxation. They are for training the mind. The results are invisible but powerful. Decisions improve. Creativity increases. Energy is preserved. Identity is reinforced. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Noise creates reactive minds. Silence creates proactive minds. Most people live reactively. Notifications dictate behavior. Emails demand attention. Opinions disrupt planning. These are minor urgencies masquerading as priorities. Silence forces the mind to return to fundamentals. Silence forces clarity. Silence forces alignment. Silence forces the brain to prioritize what actually matters. That is the system. That is the rule. That is how discipline becomes structural. Rule 1. Schedule non-negotiable thinking hours. Block at least 1 hour per day for silence. No phones, no email, no distractions. The purpose is not idle relaxation. The purpose is mental rehearsal, reflection, and planning. 1 hour of intentional silence rewires the mind over time. It strengthens attention. It clarifies priorities. It reinforces internal discipline. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Apply it. Live it. Rule 2. Eliminate external noise during critical work. Turn off notifications. Close social media. Limit interruptions. Your focus is finite. Every distraction is a tax on attention. Every interruption weakens identity. Create a controlled environment. Noise is optional. Discipline is mandatory. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Protect it. Guard it. Rule 3. Practice mental stillness. Intentional silence is also internal. Observe your thoughts. Remove judgment. Remove storytelling. Remove self-criticism. Let the mind focus on facts, logic, and priorities. Mental stillness strengthens decision-making. It reinforces clarity. It develops patience. Noise promotes scattered thinking. Silence promotes structural thinking. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Rule 4. Use silence to reinforce habit systems. During silent periods, reflect on your routines, processes, and adherence to systems. Audit habits. Check alignment with identity. Remove friction. Strengthen consistency. Reinforce repetition. Silence provides a laboratory for your mind to test structure and system without distraction. Silence is not passive. Silence is active reinforcement. Silence is a system. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Rule 5. Make silence a daily non-negotiable. Consistency compounds. 1 hour today is valuable. 1 hour tomorrow strengthens further. After weeks, months, and years, this practice creates a mind capable of sustained focus, strategic insight, and deliberate action. Identity is reinforced silently, away from external validation or distraction. Habits compound. Systems strengthen. Decisions improve. Actions align. Silence is the foundation. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Consider a practical example. A CEO blocks 2 hours each morning before communication begins. During this time, strategy is rehearsed, problems are visualized, and priorities are clarified. No calls, no messages, no interruptions. This practice is invisible. Observers may not notice it. Recognition is unnecessary. Results are inevitable. Decisions are stronger. Energy is preserved. Systems are reinforced. Identity is strengthened. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Most people avoid silence. They fear being alone with thought. They fill time with noise, entertainment, or meaningless activity. That is avoidance. That is weakness. That is distraction. To master life, one must embrace the discipline of stillness. Stillness is active. Stillness is structural. Stillness is deliberate. Silence trains focus. Silence strengthens discipline. Silence clarifies priorities. Silence is the engine behind intentional action. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Live it. Apply it. You have a choice every day to surrender to constant noise, to allow external chatter to dictate your mind, or to create structural silence, to enforce mental clarity, to protect attention, to strengthen identity. Noise is optional. Silence is structural. Discipline is mandatory. Every minute of silence compounds over time. Every distraction subtracts from potential. Minute by minute, choice by choice, identity by design. That is the principle. That is the system. That is the rule. To summarize the principles of this chapter, silence is structural. It trains attention, clarifies thought, and strengthens identity. Schedule non-negotiable thinking hours. Protect them from distraction and noise. Practice internal stillness. Observe thoughts. Remove judgment and reinforce clarity. Audit habits and systems during silence. Strengthen alignment and repetition. Make silence daily and consistent. Long-term practice compounds into sustained focus and disciplined identity. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Every hour you command silence builds your mind, your habits, and your identity. Noise weakens. Silence strengthens. Noise distracts. Silence reinforces. You have a choice. You control the structure. You control the system. You control identity. Next, we will examine how to rewire your mind through daily action. You will learn how to convert consistent behavior into structural identity. Action becomes repetition. Repetition becomes wiring. Wiring becomes the foundation of mastery. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Silence is not empty. Silence is strength. Silence is power. Chapter 6. Rewire your mind through daily action. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Memorize it. Internalize it. Thinking alone does not build mastery. Planning alone does not shape identity. Habits alone do not suffice unless executed. The brain changes through repetition of success-oriented behavior, not through intention, hope, or reflection alone. That is the principle. That is the rule. That is the system. You have a choice. Execute. Repeat. Reinforce. Build. Most people overestimate thought and underestimate action. They plan endlessly. They visualize excessively. They imagine outcomes. Yet the neural wiring of their brain remains unchanged. Action is the lever. Repetition is the mechanism. Consistency is the engine. Without it, intention remains inert. Without it, identity remains unformed. The mind learns through doing. The body adapts through doing. The habits ingrain through doing. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Live it. Apply it. Consider Olympic swimmers. They do not simply envision winning a race. They rehearse each stroke thousands of times. They repeat starts, turns, and finishes relentlessly. They train habits, not outcomes. Their identity as elite athletes is built in silent repetition. Every habit engraves neural pathways. Every repetition reinforces discipline. Every consistent action strengthens identity. Recognition is secondary. Achievement follows naturally. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. You have a choice in every moment. To act or to think. To rehearse or to dream. To repeat or to hope. Action is the currency of identity. Thought alone cannot purchase transformation. Systems exist to enforce action. Habits exist to automate repetition. Minutes and hours exist to compound effort. You do not change your life by planning. You change it by executing. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Rule 1. Convert goals into daily actions. Break large objectives into atomic tasks. Execute them daily without exception. The goal is irrelevant if it is not supported by repeated action. Habits compound. Systems reinforce. Identity is the outcome of persistent execution. Goals alone create pressure. Action creates wiring. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Rule 2. Make actions non-negotiable. Treat each habit like a law. No debate. No exception. No negotiation. Systems fail when action is optional. Identity strengthens when action is enforced. Structure your day so that repetition cannot be skipped. Minute by minute, choice by choice, actions engrave neural pathways. That is the system. That is the rule. That is the principle. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Rule 3. Focus on high-leverage behaviors. Not every action rewires the brain effectively. Identify behaviors that create the greatest alignment with the person you intend to become. Skill development, strategic execution, self-discipline. High-leverage actions create systemic change. Low-value actions consume time and energy without reinforcing identity. Prioritize wisely. Repeat consistently. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Rule 4. Track and measure adherence, not outcomes. Do not obsess over immediate results. Success is delayed. Neural wiring is immediate. Each repeated action strengthens identity regardless of outcome. Track consistency, execution, and alignment. Measure adherence to process. Reinforce structure. Systems produce results over time. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Rule 5. Reflect to strengthen the system. Daily reflection is not for validation. It is for adjustment. Identify gaps between intention and execution. Correct deviation. Strengthen systems. Reinforce actions. Reflection without action is useless. Action without reflection is inefficient. Combined, they engrave identity into the mind. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Consider a practical example. A writer commits to writing 500 words daily. The goal may be to complete a book, but that is secondary. The critical factor is execution. Every day, the act of writing engraves discipline, focus, and identity. Neural pathways strengthen. Habits solidify. The person becomes a writer before the book is complete. Repetition engraves. Action rewires. Consistency conquers. Recognition may follow, but it is irrelevant. The system matters. The habit matters. The identity is formed silently. Repeat it. Expect resistance. Internal excuses, fatigue, and distraction will attempt to halt repetition. That is natural. That is expected. That is irrelevant. Discipline is non-negotiable. Action does not seek permission. Identity is built one repeated action at a time, minute by minute, choice by choice. Neural wiring accumulates. Skill strengthens. Identity is reinforced. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Do not confuse intensity with effectiveness. 1 hour of repeated, precise action daily beats sporadic bursts of effort. One consistent action over weeks compounds into identity. One neglected habit weakens it. Systems enforce consistency. Habits enforce repetition. Identity emerges naturally from structured action. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. To summarize the principles of this chapter, action rewires. The brain adapts to repeated behavior. not thought alone. Repetition engraves. Neural pathways, habits, and identity strengthen through consistent execution. Consistency conquers. Long-term adherence to systems produces mastery and structural identity. Focus on high-leverage, aligned behaviors. Avoid low-value activity that does not reinforce identity. Track adherence, reflect, and adjust. Systems grow stronger through disciplined execution, not outcomes. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Each action you execute reinforces identity. Each repetition engraves discipline. Each day compounds mastery. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. That principle underpins every habit, every system, every decision. Next, we will examine how to eliminate energy vampires. You will learn how to protect focus, preserve mental bandwidth, and remove distractions that silently erode discipline. Every choice will determine how strong your identity becomes. Action rewires. Repetition engraves. Consistency conquers. Chapter 7. Eliminate energy vampires. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Memorize it. Internalize it. Every person, every distraction, every toxic pattern in your environment has one function: to drain your attention, fragment your focus, and dilute your identity. Most people surrender to it unconsciously. They allow noise, drama, and chaos to dictate their energy. That is weakness. That is a silent erosion of discipline. You have a choice. Guard your energy. Enforce boundaries. Protect what is yours. That is the system. That is the principle. That is the rule. Energy is finite. Attention is precious. Focus is the currency of achievement. Most people spend it recklessly. They answer every call. They respond to every message. They chase every demand. They engage in low-value social drama. They allow toxic patterns to persist in their habits, their work, and their relationships. This is not optional. This is the difference between the strong and the weak. The strong enforce limits. The strong protect focus. The strong maintain identity. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Top performers understand this principle. They guard attention as if it were gold. They set boundaries. They schedule time for deep work. They minimize low-value interactions. They audit relationships. They cut patterns that erode mental clarity. Their systems protect their energy automatically. Distractions are minimized before they reach consciousness. Focus is preserved. Discipline is enforced. Identity strengthens. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Live it. Apply it. Consider the types of energy vampires you encounter daily. People who complain constantly, demanding attention without offering solutions. Social media and notifications designed to fragment focus. Repetitive negative thought patterns that drain willpower and dilute clarity. All of these function identically. They weaken the system. They undermine identity. They consume energy silently. The weak yield. The strong enforce. You have a choice. Identify the drain. Remove it. Replace it with structure, with habits, with aligned action. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Rule 1. Audit your interactions. Review every recurring interaction. Evaluate its value. Does it serve your focus? Does it reinforce your systems? Does it align with your identity? If not, limit or eliminate it. Energy is currency. You cannot afford waste. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Rule 2. Remove low-value distractions. Notifications, constant messaging, and digital noise fragment attention. Disable what is unnecessary. Batch communication. Structure digital exposure. Attention is a non-renewable resource. Guard it. Do not surrender it casually. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Rule 3. Cut toxic patterns. Habits, routines, and environments that erode focus must be removed. Identify patterns of procrastination, distraction, and reactive behavior. Replace them with systems that reinforce discipline. Structural alignment beats sporadic effort. Systems enforce behavior. Energy is preserved. Identity strengthens. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Rule 4. Prioritize high-value relationships. People consume energy. Choose who you allow close. Surround yourself with those who reinforce growth, discipline, and clarity. Avoid constant criticism, drama, or dependency. Social patterns are systemic. They shape behavior. They influence focus. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Rule 5. Reclaim mental bandwidth daily. Schedule reflection and planning sessions to purge mental clutter. Reassess priorities, boundaries, and commitments. Remove unnecessary obligations. Remove reactive thinking. Replace mental noise with structured focus. Energy compounds when preserved. Energy is wasted when ignored. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Consider a practical example. A top-performing executive allocates blocks of time where no one can interrupt. Email is processed in batches. Meetings are scheduled for maximum impact. Social distractions are minimized. Relationships are managed for mutual value, not drama. Habits are reinforced. Mental bandwidth is preserved. Focus deepens. Decisions improve. Identity solidifies. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Most people do the opposite. They react to every request. They tolerate constant interruption. They allow toxic influence to persist. They justify wasted energy as being polite or accommodating. That is weakness. That is the silent erosion of potential. Strength requires ruthlessness with attention. Discipline demands non-negotiable protection of mental bandwidth. Energy vampires are neutralized not by confrontation, but by structural elimination. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Expect internal resistance. You will feel guilty. You will hear the voice of obligation. You will encounter pushback from others. That is normal. That is expected. Discipline does not negotiate with emotion. Systems enforce boundaries regardless of discomfort. Repetition engraves new behavior. Energy is preserved. Focus strengthens. Identity deepens. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. To summarize the principles of this chapter, audit interactions and commitments. Remove those that drain attention. Eliminate low-value distractions. Notifications, noise, and irrelevant tasks consume energy. Cut toxic patterns. Replace weak habits with structured systems that reinforce discipline. Prioritize relationships that reinforce identity. Surround yourself with alignment, not obligation. Reclaim mental bandwidth daily. Structure reflection and planning to maintain focus and clarity. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Every action you take to defend your focus strengthens discipline. Every pattern removed reinforces identity. Every system enforced compounds results. Minute by minute. Choice by choice. Energy preserved becomes leverage. Identity solidified becomes unstoppable. Next, we will examine how to focus on systems instead of results. You will learn how to automate discipline, remove dependency on motivation, and turn repeated processes into guaranteed outcomes. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Systems enforce discipline. Results follow naturally. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Chapter 8. Focus on systems, not results. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Memorize it. Internalize it. Most people chase results. They chase outcomes. They react to feedback, wins, and losses. That is reactive. That is unstable. That is fragile. Systems, not results, are the foundation of consistent achievement. Systems are repeatable behaviors. Systems create predictable outcomes. Systems reinforce identity. Results are temporary. Systems are structural. Systems are enduring. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Results are byproducts. They're not guarantees. Results fluctuate. Results depend on variables outside your control. Markets change. Opinions shift. Conditions vary. If your focus is solely on results, you will oscillate with circumstance. Motivation will spike and collapse. Identity will weaken. Systems eliminate this fragility. Systems create repetition. Systems enforce discipline. Systems produce outcomes predictably. That is the principle. That is the system. That is the rule. Consider the example of investors. A novice focuses on sporadic wins. They celebrate one good trade. They lament one loss. Their emotions dictate behavior. They overreact. They underperform. A disciplined investor does not chase outcomes. They focus on daily habits, consistent analysis, disciplined risk management, structured research, and routine review. Wins follow naturally. Losses are absorbed without disruption. Identity strengthens. Confidence compounds. Systems enforce behavior, not luck. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. You have a choice in every decision. To react to results. To be swayed by outcome. Or to reinforce systems. To follow repeated processes. To embed identity in structure. Systems remove dependency on emotion. Systems remove reliance on luck. Systems remove chaos. Systems create predictable execution. Systems enforce repetition. Systems define identity. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. Rule 1. Identify keystone systems. Determine the core behaviors that create the most leverage. Daily execution, planning, review, skill practice. These behaviors compound. They produce results reliably. Remove dependence on sporadic achievement. Embed habits into systems. Systems automate behavior. Systems enforce repetition. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Rule 2. Make execution non-negotiable. Each system must be followed without exception. No debate. No delay. No negotiation. Results are irrelevant in the short term. Systems endure. Systems produce outcomes over time. Structure eliminates uncertainty. Habits enforce behavior. Systems reinforce identity. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Rule 3. Track adherence, not outcome. Do not measure success by short-term results. Measure consistency, repetition, and system adherence. Did you execute the process? Did you follow the rules of the system? That is the metric. Results are secondary. Results are reflections, not drivers. Systems are primary. Systems produce reliable outcomes. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Rule 4. Remove dependency on motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Motivation cannot be relied upon. Systems execute regardless of mood, energy, or external circumstances. Habitual structure eliminates decision fatigue. Systems convert discipline into automation. Systems enforce focus. Systems produce results reliably. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Rule 5. Audit and refine systems regularly. No system is perfect. Evaluate efficiency and alignment with identity. Adjust for improvement. Strengthen weak links. Eliminate unnecessary steps. Systems are living structures. They evolve, but only through deliberate reinforcement. Systems enforce behavior. Systems produce outcomes. Systems strengthen identity. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Consider a practical example. A writer commits to a system of 500 words daily. They do not obsess over publishing, sales, or recognition. They follow the system. Words accumulate. Skill grows. Discipline compounds. Outcomes become predictable. Identity strengthens silently. Motivation fluctuates. Luck is irrelevant. Chaos is managed. Systems guarantee execution. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Most people invert this principle. They chase results. They react emotionally. They abandon process when results fluctuate. That is weakness. That is inconsistency. That is chaos. Strength comes from repetition. Mastery comes from systemization. Identity comes from structure. Systems enforce action. Systems produce outcomes. Systems define the strong. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Expect resistance. You will feel impatience. You will crave immediate validation. You will doubt unseen results. That is normal. Systems are long-term. Systems are structural. Systems work silently. Discipline does not seek applause. Repetition compounds. Identity strengthens. Focus stabilizes. Outcomes follow predictably. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. To summarize the principles of this chapter, systems produce consistent outcomes. Results fluctuate. Systems endure. Focus on execution, not immediate wins. Discipline compounds silently. Track adherence, not results. Consistency engraves identity. Outcomes reflect it. Eliminate reliance on motivation. Systems execute regardless of circumstance. Audit and refine systems continually. Alignment, efficiency, and structure reinforce identity. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Every system you implement strengthens identity. Every repeated process engraves discipline. Every consistent action compounds into mastery. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. Systems enforce behavior. Identity follows. Results are inevitable. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Next, we will examine how to cultivate unshakable focus. You will learn how to structure attention, resist distraction, and maintain deep concentration over long periods. Systems are now in place. Focus becomes the execution engine. Systems over luck. Systems over hope. Systems over chaos. Chapter 9. Think like a winner every day. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Memorize it. Internalize it. Every thought you entertain shapes the neural pathways that define who you are. Every mental narrative reinforces identity, for better or worse. Most people leave their minds unstructured. They react to external events. They adopt narratives dictated by others. That is weakness. That is surrender. You have a choice. Control your mind. Shape your narrative. Reinforce your identity daily. That is discipline. That is the system. That is the rule. Thinking like a winner is not wishful thinking. It is intentional structuring of mental narratives. Winners do not wait for success to dictate thought. They reinforce identity internally first. They rehearse discipline, focus, and competence mentally before it manifests externally. The mind must align with identity before behavior follows. Thoughts without structure create chaos. Narratives without discipline produce excuses. Neural pathways must be trained daily. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Live it. Internalize it. Consider athletes. Before every competition, elite performers visualize routines, strategies, and successful execution. They rehearse action in silence, imagining outcomes aligned with preparation. They do not depend on chance or external conditions. Their identity is reinforced internally first. The result is predictable performance. Identity is wired through repetition of thought aligned with action. The narrative is consistent. The behavior follows. The mind is trained daily. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. You have a choice every morning to allow your mind to drift, to accept narratives imposed by circumstance, or to structure thought deliberately, to plant seeds of identity, to reinforce focus, discipline, and capability. Mental rehearsal is practice. Internal narratives are habit. Thoughts shape perception, attention, and action. Thoughts not managed weaken identity. Thoughts managed consistently strengthen it. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. Rule 1. Begin with mental rehearsal. Each morning, visualize your day through the lens of identity. Picture executing habits flawlessly. Picture making decisions aligned with your principles. Picture resisting distraction. Mental rehearsal is practice, not fantasy. Neural pathways respond to repeated thought. Identity strengthens before action. The harvest becomes inevitable. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Rule 2. Replace negative self-talk with constructive narratives. Notice internal criticism, doubt, or fear. Replace it immediately with statements reinforcing competence, focus, and discipline. Thoughts shape behavior. Behavior engraves identity. Internal narratives dictate outcomes. You do not need external validation. You control the narrative. You engineer the mind. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Rule 3. Rehearse success, not approval. Most people narrate their day to seek recognition. They focus on how others perceive them. That is weakness. That is distraction. Winners focus internally. They imagine executing routines, solving problems, and making decisions aligned with identity. Approval is irrelevant. Execution is internal. Results follow structure. Internal narrative reinforces external action. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Rule 4. Maintain consistency in thought patterns. Identity cannot be built in sporadic bursts. Daily repetition is essential. Rehearse discipline, focus, and aligned action every morning, every evening, every significant decision point. Repetition engraves neural patterns. Over time, mental rehearsal becomes automatic. Thought and action converge. Identity becomes structural. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Rule 5. Audit internal narratives regularly. Pause at intervals to review thought patterns. Identify narratives that weaken focus, discipline, or identity. Correct immediately. Reinforce productive narratives. Mental hygiene is as critical as physical hygiene. Unstructured thought erodes identity silently. Structured thought reinforces it predictably. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Consider a practical example. An entrepreneur begins each morning with 10 minutes of internal rehearsal. They visualize tackling challenges, making strategic decisions, and executing routines flawlessly. Doubt is acknowledged and redirected. Distraction is anticipated and countered mentally. Identity is reinforced before the day begins. Results flow naturally. Energy is preserved. Focus is protected. Identity compounds silently. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Most people do the opposite. They allow external events to dictate thought. They react emotionally to criticism, setbacks, or praise. Neural pathways weaken. Focus scatters. Identity erodes. Winners structure thought deliberately. Mental rehearsal is consistent. Narrative aligns with habit. Repetition engraves identity. Action becomes predictable. Execution becomes automatic. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Expect resistance. Thoughts will default to habit. Old narratives will assert themselves. Internal criticism will challenge discipline. That is normal. That is expected. That is irrelevant. Repetition rewires. Consistency engraves. Discipline enforces mental structure. Identity emerges silently. Thoughts aligned with action produce unstoppable outcomes. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. To summarize the principles of this chapter, daily mental narratives shape identity. Thoughts precede action and reinforce neural pathways. Rehearse success, not approval. Internal recognition reinforces discipline. External validation is irrelevant. Replace negative self-talk immediately. Constructive narratives reinforce focus and habit. Maintain consistency. Daily repetition engraves mental pathways and structural identity. Audit narratives regularly. Correct and reinforce thought patterns to preserve focus and strength. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Each mental rehearsal, each deliberate narrative reinforces identity. Each repeated thought engraves neural pathways. Each day compounds discipline. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. Mental repetition builds structural identity. Execution becomes predictable. Mastery follows naturally. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Next, we will conclude with Chapter 10, Build an Unstoppable Success Identity, integrating all principles into a daily system of habits, focus, and discipline. Your mind is the soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your identity is the harvest. Chapter 10, Commit to the identity, not the circumstance. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Memorize it. Internalize it. Circumstances are temporary. They fluctuate. They test, challenge, and often fail to reflect your effort. Results are fleeting. External conditions cannot be controlled consistently. Most people allow circumstance to dictate identity. That is weakness. That is surrender. Identity is permanent. Identity is structural. Identity is built through repeated action, focus, and discipline. You have a choice. Commit to identity. Ignore circumstance. Build permanence. That is the system. That is the rule. That is the principle. Rising from failure is not about outcomes. It is not about luck. It is not about approval. Success is never guaranteed by circumstance. It is guaranteed by identity. When failure occurs, the strong do not abandon habits, systems, or focus. They reinforce them. They recommit to repeated behaviors that define who they are becoming. Circumstance may knock you down. Results may falter. Energy may be drained. That is irrelevant. Identity is structural. Discipline is consistent. Systems endure. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. Consider entrepreneurs who face setbacks. A failed venture does not define them. A rejected pitch does not define them. What defines them is their repeated action, their systems, their habits, their internal discipline. They continue to analyze, execute, and repeat the behaviors that produce competence and mastery. Identity is reinforced daily, regardless of circumstance. The world tests them. They respond by committing to the person they are becoming. Outcomes align eventually. That is the law. That is the system. That is the principle. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. You have a choice in every challenge. To surrender to circumstance. To react emotionally to setbacks. To let fear dictate action. Or to reinforce identity. To continue habits, execute systems, and protect energy. Identity does not require external validation. Identity does not depend on immediate results. Identity is strengthened through repeated, aligned action. Discipline is structural. Habits compound. Systems enforce behavior. Identity becomes unshakable. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. Rule 1. Anchor yourself in identity, not outcome. Every action, habit, and system should reinforce the person you intend to become. If results are delayed, continue the process. If setbacks occur, reinforce your routines. Identity is structural, it is not reactionary. Success follows consistent reinforcement. Systems over luck. Habits over hope. Identity over circumstance. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Rule 2. Treat setbacks as signals, not definitions. Failure is data, not destiny. Circumstances are tests, not verdicts. Observe objectively. Correct the system if necessary. Recommit to action aligned with identity. Structural repetition compounds, even through adversity. Circumstance is temporary. Identity is permanent. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Rule 3. Reinforce systems during challenge. When external conditions falter, habits and systems must remain constant. Execution cannot depend on mood or outcome. Repetition engraves identity. Consistency compounds. Habits protect focus. Systems enforce action. Identity endures. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Rule 4. Control the controllable. Circumstances will always contain uncontrollable variables. Focus only on what you can influence. Your attention, your habits, your systems, your energy. Do not waste mental bandwidth on external chaos. Structural control of internal variables guarantees alignment with identity. Discipline protects focus. Systems enforce execution. Habits compound silently. Identity is strengthened irreversibly. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Rule 5, daily recommitment. Each day, assess alignment with identity. Reaffirm systems. Reinforce habits. Execute with discipline. Circumstance is irrelevant. Identity is permanent. Repetition is structural. Results are secondary. Mastery is internal, invisible, and cumulative. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. Consider a practical example. An athlete faces a major loss. The scoreboard is not in their favor. Motivation wavers. They return to structured training, reinforce routines, and repeat disciplined actions. External failure is irrelevant. Internal identity is preserved and strengthened. The next performance becomes predictable. Neural pathways are reinforced. Focus is unshakable. Systems produce results silently. Identity remains permanent. Circumstance is temporary. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Most people invert this principle. They surrender to circumstance. They let setbacks dictate self-perception. They abandon systems, habits, and repetition. That is weakness. That is surrender. That is the erosion of potential. The strong do the opposite. They anchor in identity. They protect systems. They enforce repetition. They rise predictably. Circumstance is irrelevant. Identity is structural. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Expect resistance, internal doubt, external pressure, and immediate setbacks will test your commitment. That is natural. That is expected. That is irrelevant. Systems endure. Habits reinforce. Identity compounds silently. Execution is structural. Mastery is internal. Circumstance cannot break it. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Apply it. To summarize the principles of this chapter, anchor identity, not outcomes. Circumstances are temporary. Identity is permanent. Treat setbacks as signals, not definitions. Recommit to aligned action. Reinforce systems consistently. Execution does not depend on results. Control internal variables. Focus, habits, and attention are your domain. Recommit daily. Repeat, reinforce, and ingrain identity with every action. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Repeat it. Repeat it. Repeat it. Every repeated action engraves identity. Every system reinforced compounds discipline. Every habit executed strengthens structural mastery. You don't change your life. You change what you repeat. Circumstance is temporary. Identity is permanent. Execute relentlessly. Reinforce silently. Dominate structurally. If you want to continue your transformation, subscribe to this channel. Each video builds the systems, habits, and mental structure necessary to become unstoppable. The work is not easy. The work is daily. The work is repetition. Commit now. Systems, habits, and identity will compound. Circumstance cannot break you. Subscribe, follow, and enforce your transformation. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face. Commit to who you are, not what you face.